Bob, did we ever find out who this jacket belongs to?
Well, we haven't really tried, but it has been in the Lost and Found for almost a year.
It's my size. I'm taking it home.
Oh, whoa. You can't just take things because they've been here a while. There are things that have been in the Lost and Found since way before we were born.
Yeah, but this jacket is really cool.
Welcome to Rewind Video. I'm Bob.
I'm Rob.
And we love movies. Good ones, bad ones, old ones, new ones, movies worth owning, movies worth renting, and everything in between. So I just want to say that I'm really proud of us.
Rent to own video.
Yeah. I mean, you're tapping into something that I was about to touch on, which is that, we didn't necessarily invent the video store business model, but we are keeping it alive.
Yeah, it seems like we did because we're so good at it.
Yeah, I would say that it's thriving here at Rewind Video. These movies are technically our property, but we're choosing to share them with the community.
Yeah.
Kind of a public
For a
service.
fee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for a fee, a nominal fee.
Yes.
To take it home, watch it, bring it back.
We all have roofs over our heads that we need to, keep there.
Yeah, these lights don't pay for themselves.
That's true.
Of course, not only are we making these thousands of films available to everyone, we're also offering a curated selection of movies to help with the daunting task of choosing something to watch.
Not easy.
I know it's not. As most listeners know, you and I are responsible for stocking the staff recommendation shelf here at the store. Each time we pick a new selection of films, we adhere to a theme. And this week's theme, appropriately, is property.
Vast tracts of land.
Right, yes. Buildings and such.
Buildings,
and things inside
yeah.
said buildings.
Yeah, or jackets or hats.
Right. Right.
Videotapes.
Yeah. So, I think we have an eclectic collection of movies today.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah. We're spanning decades. We're spanning definitions of property.
Yeah. You brought one of your Bob movies. I brought one of my
one
Robb
of your
movies.
movies for sure. Yeah. That was high on my list of things to say about
Excellent.
your first pick. But it is. It's going to be fun to chat through. And I think that it's going to be fun for us to share these properties of ours with the general public. Quick PSA before we get into tonight's episode. It is getting to be awards season.
Yes.
That time,
Very exciting.
Yeah. A lot of different outlets are beginning to announce their best things of 2025 lists. And that means we're fast approaching the second annual Rewindies.
Yes.
Are you as excited as I am?
I am. I've got my tux fitted.
Good.
Yes, I got a new tux this year.
Oh, nice. Did you change sizes?
No, just the style of tux.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. You're
Excited
keeping
for you
up
to
with the
see it.
times.
Exactly.
Yeah. I hope the jacket is cool.
It's good. It's a cool jacket. Trust me.
Good. Last year's show, a resounding hit, obviously.
Yes, get your tickets now because they're hard to get.
They are. Yeah, we've got a host of new trophies to hand out in short order to some deserving winners.
Absolutely.
So, I'm looking forward to it. Stay tuned. That's right around the corner.
Yes.
But even more immediate is our first of tonight's 6 property-themed movies. Do you want to get us started?
I think I will.
Can't wait.
I'm going to start us off in 1984. The movie is Breakin 2, Electric Boogaloo. This movie is poppin' locked up behind the counter here at the store. Here's the back of the box.
All right.
The dance crew from Breakin bands together to save a community center from a greedy developer bent on building a shopping center in its place. Tagline, they're back for everyone who believes in the beat.
Not all of them are back.
Mostly back.
Yeah. Like
I don't
Christopher McDonald didn't make it back.
Okay.
Yeah. But otherwise, yeah, they're back.
Yeah, you're nitpicking this tagline.
Well, I mean, what's fascinating to me is that when did Breakin' 1 release?
Just a couple of months before this one did.
Right.
They're both 1984 movies.
It's not like they had to, scour the globe for the cast. I'm sure they were probably still,
People That Matter came back.
Right.
Listen.
Yeah.
So, Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo is the sequel to the danceploitation film Breakin', which came out in May of 1984. This movie came out in December. Now, the first one was a fairly big hit. They made it for about $1.5 million, and it made $38 million. So I guess they were just like, let's just jam through a sequel right now.
Right. Fucking right now.
Opening weekend, they're like, this sounds good. Let's do it again.
You guys got more dances?
Yeah. I think this is kind of known for its title as much as anything else.
Oh. Absolutely.
It's just one of those things that's just become part of the lexicon of, or just a sequel. It's like something to Electric Boogaloo. I found out it's called a snow clone, which is it's kind of like a verbal trope. Right. The original is about Kelly, who's this classically trained dancer from a well-to-do family, and she encounters Turbo and Ozone on the streets of LA. And they form a dance team. And they enter and they win a competition. And in the sequel, Kelly has moved on and she's in the world of traditional dance. She's doing auditions, and Turbo and Ozone are just spending a lot of their time at the community center, which is called hilariously Miracles.
Right.
Which itself is behind on codes. So the city is basically going to shut it down and turn it into a shopping center or sell it to a guy that's going to. And so after various rounds and ideas of fundraising, they can't quite get enough money raised to do the work, and they decide the only way to save this community center is to dance for it.
Well, I mean, what better way to make money than to dance?
Right. So what the property developer is doing to this neighborhood is, a tale as old as time. He's trying to take control of this public good, this part of the commons, and turn it into private property. He's using the modern economic system, but it's just colonialism.
Sure.
We saw it in The Founder, which was about McDonald's.
Right.
So this guy's just coming in and going listen, this community center isn't working. The codes aren't there, and
right,
et cetera. Meanwhile, it's like this, if the city would have just kept the building up to date, it would have been fine. So he's coming in and is like, now I have to own this so it can be turned into something, quote, productive.
Right.
So instantly, as this movie starts, we're kind of just immersed in music and dancing and bright, colorful fashion, and it really doesn't let up for the entire movie.
No.
We go right into an impromptu, freestyle rap and dance off that eventually just involves the whole neighborhood. Not really explained why. It's just the neighborhood. They're into it. They like
the
doing
cops
this
dancing.
Stuff. The cops are there.
Yeah.
Everybody. This is like a neighborhood, just a activity that they do. I guess seems like all the time. Nobody's surprised that there's a dance off going on down the street.
Well, I don't know what neighborhood you live in, but I mean, it's not uncommon in my neighborhood for everyone to just walk out their front door and start two-stepping.
Well, I live right across the street from the store. It doesn't happen here.
Okay, I understand.
There are actual dance battles in this between street gangs. They're legitimately angry at each other.
Yeah.
They're going to fight, but what the fight actually ends up being is just dancing.
Right. I've seen the video for Beat It. I know that this is how that happens occasionally.
I mean, pretty much anything in this universe is an excuse to start breakdancing.
Sure.
And the fashion is kind of incredible. We talked about the Devil Wears Prada recently, and these are the kids who don't get their fashion from magazines. Meryl Streep in that movie, she's getting her ideas from these kids, right? Like these kids are just finding clothes somewhere, right? They don't have any money. They're taking hand-me-downs and stuff that they get out of the garbage or thrift stores or wherever, and they're making their own fashion, you know? They're creating the fashion. Right. Now, does it look kind of silly? Yeah, of course it does. Like, that's how you create things, though, you know?
Yeah. Anything that eventually looked cool at some point looked silly.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
Here we are.
I think dancing to save the community center might be one of the best premises of all time. Like it's up there with "Let's teach the bad kids capoeira." I mean, it's just incredible. It's like even like you watch the movie, you're like, this doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
And I don't care. You know, it's kind of like Rad, but with dancing instead of bikes.
I did think about Rad when I was watching this. I also, and you're probably going to disagree with me here, and maybe it was just my mood while watching this, I was rooting for the supermarket to show up.
What?
Yes, I was like, maybe these people live in a food desert.
You need to. No, it wasn't It wasn't a supermarket though. It was like a shopping center, a mall. Yeah. I guess there could be a grocery store there.
Sure. As well. Yeah.
But you're assuming. I think you're assuming a lot. I don't think it's fair. For you to say, like, I want the shopping center. Well, you're on the property developer's side.
I am. And
this hurts.
Rob, you know, I have to say what shows up occasionally in shopping centers? Video stores.
That's true, but there probably is a video store in this neighborhood.
Maybe. Yeah, possibly. Who knows?
Okay, but you know what? If you want to turn this area into a shopping center, maybe that's okay. But you got to find a place for the community center too.
Right. New Miracles.
Because like the idea, and like this is kind of the world we've all grown up in. The idea is like, well, these kids are just up to no good because they're in this community center, not working or buying things, right? And so what we'll do is we'll build a mall here and force them to get jobs and buy things at the mall, right?
Yes.
And create economic activity. That way they're
support the local economy, yeah.
Right. When it's just like, really, they just need somewhere to go, you know, where they don't have to like sell part of their soul / spend their parents' money.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like kids just need somewhere to go. This is before cell phones where they, you know, actually did go places.
Yeah.
You know?
You had to occupy your time
right
without looking at a screen. Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't believe you're on the side of the greedy developers.
1,000%. Yeah. I was putting myself in the shoes of somebody who lived in a neighborhood thinking, well, do we want to keep Miracles around or do we want a place to shop?
Well, that sounds like somebody who doesn't live in the neighborhood. You're like, you know what I want in this other neighborhood? Somewhere for me to buy stuff.
Well, I also would argue that you can't have a shopping mall unless you first have a shopping mall. So,
true.
You know.
But let's say, you know what? You probably have a shopping center in your neighborhood that you're like, I love this shopping center, right?
Yeah.
It's got a coffee shop and a video store.
Right.
All right. What happens when Mr. Moneybags comes in and is like, you know what? I'm going to tear down this shopping center and I'm going to build an office building for a bunch of white-collar douchebags.
Well, I don't like that.
You don't like that, right?
No. I don't like that. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's fair. It's fair. Yeah. So you still want a Miracles in the community?
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
Especially if the community wants Miracles there, right?
Right. I mean, they do love.
They should get to decide a little bit. That's my point.
Yeah.
This is kind of like a long music video, essentially. You know, it is just songs and dances. There's like a cool scene where the house rotates and they are dancing on the ceiling, and I don't know. There's just an exuberance to this movie that I think is intoxicating. The culture needs more of this. People are just excited to be dancing, and they're just excited to be alive, and there's just a joy to this movie that you don't see in a lot of movies nowadays.
Right. I don't disagree with you there. I would argue that Breakin' 2 walked so that Step Up could run.
Well, you're gonna have to bring it to the shelf sometime. Yeah. Prove that.
I look forward to that opportunity.
So, Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo is rated 3.0 on Letterboxd.
Perfect 3.0.
28 users have it in their 4 favorites. And one of those is me. 7% agree with my 5-star rating.
Oh my God, 5 stars!
5 stars.
Oh, wow.
Including Sam, who said, that was fucking amazing. Not sure if I imagined it or not, but I'm pretty sure they walked on the ceiling, conjured human beings from thin air, healed the crippled, and resurrected a man from the dead, all through the power of dance. Sam did not imagine any of that. All of that is in the movie. So Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo, it sticks it to the man through dance, and so I'm putting it on the shelf for the topic of property.
So just so I'm 100% clear.
Yeah.
Credits roll on Breakin' 2, and your immediate reaction is no notes.
Yes. That is correct.
Okay. All right. I want to make sure. We are in different places.
I understand.
This is a hard one for me.
You don't like fun. You prefer people to be sad in your movies.
Yeah, and hungry for each other.
Something like that.
Right. I had this at 2 stars. I do have the first Breakin' higher. I think that's a just classic 3-star movie.
I disagree with that ranking.
I understand, and I respect your position. I assume this is what you were talking about when you said I brought a Robb movie to the show.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess the next one probably
maybe
is
a little bit, but
I'm
I'm probably a lot closer to you on the next one than I am.
This is just one of those movies where it feels like they were really capturing something on film. You know?
Yeah.
Yes, the story makes no sense. Yes, it's silly. You know, if you could look at it, be like, oh, they're just dancing for no reason. People don't actually do that.
Sure.
Fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But it feels like they're capturing a moment in time. It feels like they're capturing something where they were just like, all right, like these guys can dance, so the director is just like, just do something and see what happens, you know? And
right.
I don't know, there's something about that I really connect with. And
it's the beauty of the video store experience.
This is why we recommend movies.
Yes,
this is why movies exist.
Yes. All right. Well, exciting way to kick off our property theme. And I assume that the property here is miracles. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. So, I mean, apt selection.
Yeah.
Great way to get us started.
Trying to protect it from the property developers who apparently you're a big fan of.
Well, some cases. All right. Well, I'm going to the year of 1989. And the section of the store that I plucked my first film from is the, oh yeah, we're kicking our movie off with a Nietzsche quote section. And that's also occupied by the movie Ravenous and Criminal Law. So there's other films in that small section of the store. But I think that you can probably accurately guess that if it's coming from that area of the store, it's probably a long movie. And this is.
Yeah, which version are you bringing to the shelf? I'm curious.
I watched the special edition.
2 hours and 51 minutes.
I do not recommend that one.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's got more to it, but it's a lot of time in front of the screen. And I think you get plenty with the theatrical release.
Okay.
So what movie are we talking about? We're talking about The Abyss. Here's the back of the box. A civilian oil rig crew is recruited to conduct a search and rescue effort when a nuclear submarine mysteriously sinks. One diver soon finds himself on a spectacular odyssey 25,000 feet below the ocean's surface, where he confronts a mysterious force that has the power to change the world or destroy it. This is a submarine movie. Mm-hmm. Tagline, when you get there, you will understand. Which, again, feels like a note written to the tagline writer. I don't feel like this is the one they should have landed on.
Put something down.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out later.
Yeah. This is, of course, James Cameron's underwater opus. Equal parts sci-fi thriller, Cold War parable, metaphysical mystery. notoriously one of the most grueling productions in Hollywood history.
Yeah.
And it fuses Cameron's fascination with technology, human endurance, and the unknown. We get Ed Harris, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, and this was the movie that that prompted her to swear to not be in another water-related film until she showed up in The Perfect Storm. And we also have Michael Biehn here, who a little bit of a favorite of James Cameron.
Yeah.
He showed up in a few of his films.
Kind of what he's known for.
Yeah. I like Michael Biehn a lot.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. He plays a Navy SEAL in this whose mind kind of begins to unravel under the immense pressure, literally and psychologically. But, of course, this movie is most known for its special effects, which were groundbreaking at the time. I think still hold up really well today.
Pretty good. You could see that it's not quite up to like Terminator 2.
Right.
Like they're getting there.
It started to pave the way for that.
Yeah.
And I think that it's interesting because this recently got the 4K upgrade, and it's in 4K. I think you can definitely see that maybe perhaps it's not as strong as it looked when it was just HD or something. But how does it fit the theme? So I'm bending. Well, not bending. I'm interpreting property a little differently with this one. In this case, I chose the Abyss because it's an interesting exploration of the properties of water and the effect that water has on these people, and well, more than that, there's certainly a scientific exploration of the properties of water. We get, psychologically, Michael Biehn's character is succumbing to being under thousands of feet of water and the pressure associated with that. Some metaphysical stuff with the alien presence. So, it's.
Well, you know what they say.
What's that?
Water is the essence of wetness, and wetness is the essence of life.
Yes. They do say that.
I think that.
I think you did. So a little bit of background on this. Cameron's been obsessed with deep sea exploration before Titanic, and even since then he's still just going out in submarines and exploring stuff. But this was his first attempt at bringing it to the big screen, and this was shot in an abandoned nuclear power plant's containment tank in South Carolina, which I thought was really fascinating. 7.5 million gallons of water. As I said, the shoot was rather fraught, lasted about 6 months. Ed Harris nearly drowned, later refused to discuss the experience, just called it traumatic. And yeah, you kind of touched on it. The pseudopod water tentacle was really one of the first uses of photorealistic CGI, which certainly got us to what Cameron was later doing in Terminator 2. Why did I choose this? So I think that James Cameron, pretty special filmmaker. He does a great job of exploring here environmental properties, literal, emotional. The Abyss kind of takes something as familiar as water and turns it into something bigger. It's kind of a vessel for fear, love, revelation. And yeah, I think this does a good job of using water as a metaphor for human adaptability and its ability to crush, reflect, or sustain us. And yeah, I think that there's almost 2, maybe 3 movies happening here because it doesn't feel like it has a sci-fi quality to it until like the second act. And it also has a lot of divorce drama going on, which coincidentally it was being filmed while Cameron was going through his divorce with Catherine Bigelow.
Almost like at least like 75% of the movies in the 80s had to do with a divorce.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But yeah, I really like some of the swings this takes, and the cast is pretty terrific. I always love seeing Ed Harris doing his Ed Harris thing. But yeah, if you haven't seen this, I think the places it goes from a sci-fi standpoint, rather surprising and pretty entertaining. So that's why I chose it. I'm curious how you felt.
I've never loved this movie. I kind of feel about it how I feel about Aliens.
Oh.
And where it's just like I something about it, I'm like, I don't really see what other people are seeing in a lot of. I don't know. It's just something about the pacing about it, which is why I asked which version you saw, because this one is 2 hours. The normal one's like 2 hours and 30 minutes or so, and then the long one is an extra 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can fix those pacing issues by adding in extra time if you do it right.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem is that, like, it seems like 3 different stories and nothing really seems resolved. It just seems like, oh, we're doing this now we're doing this, and now we're doing this. And it's just like, they don't really seem connected. They don't seem like each part of the story is resolved in a way that's satisfying. And it's just one of those movies that every time I watch it, I'm just like, this is taking forever. Like, what is, it just seems like it's a 5-hour movie to me. And I don't know, something about it just has never worked for me. And I can't explain it, kind of like with Aliens.
So I heartily disagree with you on Aliens, but I would agree that in general, James Cameron has pacing problems. I mean, Terminator 2 is perfect.
Right.
No notes. But Titanic is long as fuck. Mm-hmm. The Avatar movies, dreadfully long.
Yeah.
This, longer than it needs to be. And you wish that somebody could have just come in and helped tighten things up a little bit.
I don't know if it's the editing, or I don't know what the problem is. It's just, and I don't even know that it's necessarily the runtime. It's just, there's something about the pacing of especially this, where it's just like, it seems longer than it is, and it's already long.
Right. Yeah.
And also just like the weird things where that's like, I've always found this movie like so funny how like they're trying to tell you like so hard how, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio is a bitch, and it's just like, she's not really.
No,
you know what I mean?
She's not.
She's annoying a couple times, and everyone's just like, "Oh, this fucking bitch," and even she like calls herself a bitch. And it's like, what's going on here? Like, I haven't seen this woman be a bitch like at all, and even if she was, it has nothing to do with the story that's going on. Like, what is? I could never understand that.
She's confident, which I think gets unfairly mistaken as bitchiness when you see it in a female character, and it's like what's wrong with that? She's good at what she does.
Yeah, like, I don't know. She's like barely confident for like one scene. It's like, what is everybody's problem with her?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, that I don't disagree with you there. I have this at 4 stars. It averages a 3.7. I assume you have it a little lower.
It's a 3 for me.
3 for you? Yeah. This grossed $90 million worldwide on a $70 million budget, which was respectable, but not a smash hit, which surprised me a little bit because this has definitely embedded itself in culture since being released, and probably because of the special effects. But
it's one of those movies that you have an image of it in your mind.
Yeah.
But I could never. I'm not even like. I'm not even really sure what the story is, even having just watched it again.
There's some retrospective praise that calls this Cameron's most emotionally sincere film, which I take issue with.
Yeah.
But I did pluck.
He's not a man known for emotional sincerity.
No, he's certainly not. I did pluck the 4.5 star review from Jake, who I think touches on an astute observation. He says, there's a direct correlation between how great a James Cameron film is and how close one or more of the actors come to drowning during the making of it.
It's probably true.
Yeah, it probably is. So that's my first pick, The Abyss. It's going on the shelf for property. In this case, properties, but property.
Sure.
Yeah,
that works.
Sure. Why not?
Sure. There's no referees here. Okay, I'm going to take us up to 1992. The movie is Captain Ron. This is filed under Failboats.
This is not on my bingo card for our property theme, but
Yeah.
I'm glad it's there.
Yeah, I'm glad we surprised you.
Yeah.
Here's the back of the box. When mild-mannered Martin Harvey finds out that he has inherited a vintage yacht, he decides to take his family on a Caribbean vacation to retrieve the vessel. Upon arriving on a small island and realizing that the ship is in rough shape, Martin and his family end up with more than they bargained for as the roguish Captain Ron signs on to sail the boat to Miami. It doesn't take long before Ron's anything-goes antics get the Harveys into plenty of trouble. Tagline, Martin just wanted a nice, quiet family vacation. Instead, he got Captain Ron.
Hearing that back of the box makes me hope that at some point in time I can be referenced for my anything goes antics.
Yes. Bad news, Bob. I think that ship has sailed. So, what is Captain Ron? Martin Short is a Chicago office drone who is growing tired of the corporate American life. So when he finds out he's inherited the sailboat, he sees a kind of an escape into this exciting other life that he could have. So he drags his family down to the Caribbean against their wishes with a plan to sell this boat back to a yacht brokerage in Miami. But when they get down there, the boat is all falling apart, and the yacht brokerage is like, just hire somebody local. And that guy ends up being Captain Ron, played by Kurt Russell. And, thanks to Captain Ron's haphazard captainship, they end up, going through a tropical storm, getting arrested for human trafficking, starting an international incident in Cuba. So the property in question is the boat, which Martin Short has inherited from his uncle and at one point was owned by Clark Gable. And, inheritance is one of the many ways that people acquire property. But I got to say, a boat is definitely the last kind of property I would ever want to own.
Yeah,
I
agree.
There's other kinds of property, I guess, but nobody wants to own a boat.
I mean, I've heard the anecdote that the two best days of being a boat owner are the day that you buy a boat and the day that you sell it.
Yes.
So,
well, especially even if you think that being on a boat is so fun, you don't want to be the one in charge of it, right? That's the problem, Yeah. And also it's like one of those things that when you're not using it, you got to keep it somewhere and pay somebody to keep it there, and you got to scrape stuff off it once a year or something.
Yeah.
It's just
barnacles and such.
No, fuck all that shit. I want no part of boat ownership.
No,
but it is a type of property that a lot of people own, and a lot of people are trying to get rid of. But it's like owning a car. It's just except it's 1% as useful as a car.
Yes,
it's just almost completely pointless. I would sell this boat so fast. I mean, I guess the idea of learn to sail, take my family and learn to sail. I think sailing seems cool.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind sailing lessons or something, but I don't want to be responsible for the actual vehicle,
Yeah, it seems cool in the way that hang gliding seems cool, but in practice, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm interested.
I think hang gliding seems dangerous.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I guess just being on a boat is dangerous. You're right. The whole thing is it's all stupid. Don't do it. Don't do any of it. So I think this movie is just pure vibes. Mm-hmm. I watch it when I go on beach vacations. We spend a lot of time on the ocean. We spend a lot of time in the sunshine in the Caribbean. Lots of beach time, seaside towns.
Yeah.
Calypso music, just stuff you think of.
Pastels,
yes. And a big contributor to the vibe is Kurt Russell and his performance as Captain Ron. He's just he's kind of a proto dude from Lebowski, in a way. He's just the personification of the Caribbean ethos.
I found myself. So this was my first viewing of Captain Ron.
Wonderful,
and I'm glad I got a chance to watch it. I found myself thinking, maybe midway through this movie, that Kurt Russell does not get enough credit for the range he has as an actor.
Yeah.
Because the same guy that gave us The Thing also is Captain Ron and great in both parts. I mean,
this is such a great performance.
Breathing rare.
You don't think of Kurt Russell as like this kind of actor, but it's funny, and it was cast oppositely. Originally, it was Kurt Russell as the straight man and Martin Short as Captain Ron.
Oh,
which makes sense from if you're like
on
if
paper.
You're thinking like the funny guy plays this part and the regular guy plays this part.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that they switched it.
Same,
because we would never have had this performance otherwise, and like maybe that's why the movie was not successful. I mean, because people weren't ready for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I'm glad that we have it this way and not the other way.
Agree. I mean, I would argue that you get a little bit of Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell here, like just touches of it, but yeah, it's not a typical role for him.
Right. So Captain Ron, it is at 2.9 on Letterboxd. 81 people have it in their 4 favorites. Only 10% agree with my 4-star rating, including Dylan, who says, "Guys, I don't even care. Not every movie has to be revolutionary. This is fun, and I like it."
Yes. Yeah.
So Captain Ron, delightful movie. I'm putting it on the staff recommendation shelf this week for property.
Well, I have this at 3 stars, but can very easily see it growing to 4. I mean, on a first viewing, it has yet to occupy that vibes function that I'm sure it will in the future.
Just from like a pure like stats standpoint, like this isn't like a straight away 4-star movie.
Right.
This is one of those movies you're like, after you've seen it 2 or 3 times in the right situation, you're like, I could just put this on whenever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just sit in it for a while.
I'm a little astonished that the Letterboxd average for this is a 1/10 of a point lower than Breakin 2. I would not have guessed that.
I mean, they're both criminally low.
Well, yeah. This is definitely lower than I would have expected. Yeah. But boy, Kurt Russell becoming a mainstay on the staff recommendation shelf. We've had him for Backdraft and
not a surprise.
Death Proof, Vanilla Sky. I can't remember if we've recommended Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I don't know. We might.
Maybe.
Listen, this staff recommendation shelf has been around for a long time
at
this point.
Yeah, it's like some of the stuff in Lost and Found.
Yeah, that's true. My memory doesn't work as good as it used to.
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely covered Fast and Furious, and he's been in those, so.
Yeah. I'm also like happy about the fact that like we are the type of podcast that doesn't look stuff up when we have questions like this.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I wonder, who knows?
Yeah. We rely on our customers to set us straight when they come into the store. Well, fine pick. This was fun. I'm going to go to something that's not fun, but
as Bob does.
As we do. My next pick is from 2003, and it is from the, oh my God, just open your fucking mail section of the store. And my movie is House of Sand and Fog. So here's the back of the box. Kathy Niccolo is a recovering addict and evicted from her late father's house due to a clerical error. The county sells the property to Colonel Barani, a proud Iranian immigrant trying to rebuild his family's life after fleeing his homeland. What begins as a bureaucratic mistake escalates into a devastating moral and emotional conflict as both Kathy and Barani lay claim to the same home, each seeing it as their last chance at redemption. Tagline, not a great one. Some dreams can't be shared. Okay.
Yeah.
So this was adapted from the novel by Andre Dubas III, and I believe that novel was released in like 1999. So it was like shortly before this movie came out, and it was a relative success. Vadim Perelman directed this, and this was his directorial debut. I'm going to just come right out and say, I saw this shortly after it was released, and it hit differently for me then than it did now. I don't know that it held up as well for me as I expected it to. Nevertheless, I think that it's a fitting selection for our theme because, we have property not only is just a piece of land here, but it's certainly the embodiment of a memory of identity and dignity for these characters. For Jennifer Connelly's character who plays Kathy, this represents her kind of last tangible connection with her father, and for Ben Kingsley's character, certainly represents kind of like a reclamation of class and former identity, respect. But the home becomes very much the crossroads for these two characters who are kind of each dealing with grief and conflict and in the case of Kingsley's character, some immigrant experience. Definitely the property playing a central role in this.
It's a
movie about a house.
It's a movie about a house. Yeah, and it's nobody's relationship to it is positive.
No,
you know what I mean.
Rather unhealthy.
Yeah, and you understand what everybody's trying to do.
Yeah,
but also it's just like somebody needs to just walk away and everyone would be better. Like, just trust the system the way it's supposed to work. Yeah. Or just open, like you said, open your fucking mail. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's hard to root for anyone in this.
But you can also understand where everybody's coming from.
Exactly.
Right? Everybody's right and everybody's wrong.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the city was wrong, but they're also right. They're just like, listen, let the system play out.
Yep.
She's right in the fact like this is my fucking house. Like you can't just take it away because I forgot to, pay a $50 whatever.
Yeah.
And she's also wrong for like pursuing it the way that she does. And like this guy is right because you know what I mean? Like everyone's right and everyone's wrong. And it's hard to root for anybody, but it's hard to root against anybody.
You're exactly right. And that was my memory of this movie. And I find that dynamic fascinating, and I think it makes for an interesting story. In execution, I think there's some flaws here that, especially now looking back on it, weigh it down a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, it's
a bummer.
It is. It's a bummer of a movie. Interestingly, Roger Deakins was the cinematographer here, which kind of surprised me that a first-time director managed to secure Roger Deakins to shoot his film. But, among perhaps some of the faults of this is the questionable decision to have Ben Kingsley play an Iranian character. He did get very method with this and was like, didn't break from this role even between cuts. Jennifer Connelly described this as kind of one of her most emotionally draining performances. Surprising, given that she was also in
Requiem
for a Dream. Why did I choose this? Like I said, I remembered this being better than it was, but on rewatch, in spite of the Lifetime of movie of the week vibes that this kind of gives off, I do think it's still a powerful study in possession and pride, and what sticks with me is how property here is certainly more than just real estate. It's a reflection of identity and represents a past life for each of the main characters that are contending for this home. So. The house is certainly larger than a setting here, and I appreciate that. But you're right that it's not a happy film. It definitely is a downer, and I'm sorry for that. For those who are looking for just to ride the Captain Ron wave, this will not. This will not satisfy you, but
Captain Ron does not have a place in this world. Of this movie.
Yeah.
There is no Captain Ron in this universe.
It averages a 3.6 on Letterboxd, and that's a little high for me. I have this at 3 stars, not because it's like a classic 3-star movie in the sense that we tend to recommend 3-star movies, but just because it's not better than 3 stars for me. But I think it's still an interesting exploration into this theme and these characters. So
yeah, that's an interesting story.
I was surprised that Roger Ebert rated this as high as he did. So instead of a Letterboxd review, I actually pulled his. He had this at 4 out of 4 stars, writing that what begins as a property dispute becomes a human calamity, which is true. Yeah. I don't know that makes it a 4 out of 4 star movie, but Ebert liked it. So
it's a 3 for me.
Yeah, agree. Same here. But I'm throwing it on a shelf for property.
All right. Well, I'm going to take us way back to the year of 1941. Again, this is second straight shelf that I've brought a movie from 1941.
Yeah, I wonder what else was released in 1941 that you'll recommend.
Nothing comes to mind, but maybe. This movie, it's called Citizen Kane.
Oh, interesting. I've heard of it.
Surprisingly, this is found in the Florida Man section of the store. Here's the back of the box. Newspaper magnate Charles Foster Kane is taken from his mother as a boy and made the ward of a rich industrialist. As a result, every well-meaning, tyrannical, or self-destructive move he makes for the rest of his life appears in some way to be a reaction to that deeply wounding event. Tagline: some called him a hero, others called him a heel.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Not going to convince me to buy a ticket, but whatever.
Yeah. So this is Orson Welles' masterpiece about the life of Charles Foster Kane, who inherits a gold mine as a child and spends his life using that inherited fortune to prove to the world that he's important. And, it's widely considered one of the best movies ever made. Some consider it the greatest of all time, if you think that there's such a thing.
Right.
It remains, however you think about this movie, it definitely remains one of the biggest swings in Hollywood history. He was just taking a swipe at everything and everybody. Thematically, it takes on everything, like wealth and power and media and politics and show business, youth, aging, human connection,
legacy,
memory, legacy, passage of time, like everything's in
all
there,
of it.
Yes. The filmmaking is revolutionary. It's also like, just like the production of it was this show of power that Orson Welles got within the studio system that was unheard of at the time, and like kind of a lesson for the studios going forward, and it was never really allowed again. And it's just like a fearless movie, in front of the camera, behind the camera, everything. It's still one of the most audacious pieces of art to come out of Hollywood, to this day. How does it fit the theme? Well, the property that, to me, defines Kane isn't, the gold mine that provided his wealth, or even Rosebud, which was really just like a representation of, memory. But it's Xanadu, his Florida estate.
Yes.
That's where he spends the last part of his life. And he's, it's this property that is never finished. It's just a collection of everything that he's ever bought and just wanted to own in his life, including his wife. And he's just exiled himself there into this giant castle that's just never finished. He's just surrounded himself with all these artifacts, like all these things that aren't alive, kind of to just prove to himself that it was all worth it.
Yeah, it's kind of a museum almost.
It's a museum. It's like even worse than that, though, because a museum at least gets like guests and stuff to come through and they're like interested in it.
Yeah.
Like this is just like a bunch of stuff, and it's like it is. I guess like it's cliche to say it's a prison or whatever, but like he's put himself in this prison to just protect himself from everything.
Yeah.
From the world that like has ended up being just a disappointment. Yeah. It turned out he didn't have as much control over it as he thought. And so all he has left is his money. And so he just protects himself with this bubble.
Yeah. He's exiled himself into what should be paradise, but it's not.
Yeah. Or at the very least, it should be home. And it's not home. It's not a property.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a property.
Yeah.
It's not anybody's home. They're just living in this big, uncomfortable, cold room with this fireplace that's the size of a school bus. And somehow this room seems like it's freezing,
Yeah.
You could never be comfortable in a place like that.
No.
There's no way. Like you would need, if I had all the money in the world, I wouldn't live like this. No. You would need an apartment inside this house to make it seem like you were at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
what is this place even like? What's it supposed to be? There's not much I can say about Citizen Kane that hasn't been said before. It's like but it lives up to its reputation. It can be a lot of different things. It can be funny. It can be dramatic. It can be. I think it is one of those movies that kind of is a mind drifter where you just like it causes me to just like think about things that are happening, and pretty soon I'm like, oh shit, I wasn't even like paying attention, I
couldn't agree with you more, and that's why I appreciate that you chose it for this theme, because something this big and sprawling almost requires a lens for you to observe it through, and I had never watched this thinking to myself, okay, well, I'm going to pay attention to it as it relates to just the house. Yeah. And that made it a very different viewing experience, having seen this several times. And I appreciated that because, yeah, you're right. It's about so fucking much. Yeah. And you almost need something to guide you.
Something to grab onto.
Yeah.
That is like a great thing about great movies is that there's always that thing that you can watch it 100 times and then that you're like, oh, I never saw that before. And it happened to me in this, and it wasn't about property actually. It was about when he first meets his wife.
Sure.
And or his second wife. And they're talking, and she says something like, I always wanted to, he goes like, what do you like to do? And she's like, I want to be a singer, I guess. And I never noticed before, but she immediately is like, well, I don't actually want to do that. It's just something my mom thought of. And he just completely fucking steamrolls over it. And I never noticed how instantly she was like, oh, actually, I don't want to do that. And he has completely shut it off. He is on to the next thing going like, I'm going to make this dream of hers happen.
Yeah.
Even though she's in the middle of saying, I don't want to do this.
It's not my dream.
Yeah.
Right?
And I never noticed that before. I just never realized how he just completely ignores her, the next sentence she says, Wow. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to make this dream come true of hers. And he's just become that instantly. Right.
Yeah.
And there's always those little things that you just, every scene has just like, oh shit. I never noticed that before.
Well, it's funny because his ability to do that is his identity. Yeah. And he is not even paying attention to the fact that what he's trying to do for her is not her identity.
Yeah.
And
he hasn't fallen in love with her. He's seen this thing that he can turn into something else.
Right.
To prove to everybody else what he is.
Right.
So Citizen Kane, it is 4.2 overall on Letterboxd. 6,600 people have it in their 4 favorites, and 30% agree with my 5-star rating, including Alex Giu, who says journalism, politics, wealth, but at its core, just one man's emotional support sled. So Citizen Kane finally going up on the staff recommendation shelf this week for property.
I mean, it had to get here at some point.
Yes.
And I'm glad that it did for this reason.
I think this is a good topic for this.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Well, fine pick. I'm going to take us with our final property choice to a newer movie. This is from 2022. Plucked from the Airbnb Where section of the store. And I chose Barbarian. So, back of the box for Barbarian, a young woman arrives at her Airbnb in a desolate Detroit neighborhood, only to find that it's already been double booked with another guest. With no other options, she reluctantly decides to stay the night. Great back of the box.
Yeah.
It teases what we get here, but
Draws you in.
yeah. Tagline, some stay for a night, some stay for a week, some never leave.
Good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so Barbarian, written and directed by Zach Kreger, who some people know as being one of the founding members of the comedy troupe The Whitest Kids You Know. Other people probably know him from the big hit he released in 2025, which was Weapons, another phenomenal film.
Yeah.
But Barbarian, his first foray into horror, and it's one that kind of gleefully defies expectations. What begins as kind of a tense two-hander about a suspicious house guest becomes a sprawling multi-chapter descent into the history of a cursed property. There's some tonal whiplash here, but not in a bad way, I would argue.
Yeah.
And
I think that's kind of one of the points of it.
Yeah, agree. Cast is uniformly great. We get Georgina Campbell, who is the lead. Bill Skarsgård is here. He kind of weaponizes his creepiness, and Justin Long gives a darkly hilarious performance. But how does it fit the theme? So this is literally about a property, an Airbnb property, and some of the wacky shit that goes on there. Beyond just two people being booked at one time, there's some creepy discoveries that these house guests arrive upon. And I would say there's even kind of some the concept of moral property here as it relates to just owner who is responsible for what happens in a place. And Justin Long's character kind of represents the failure of ownership, someone who is just interested in profiting off of a property and not what darkness lies beneath it.
Right.
But yeah, Zach Kreger, interestingly, wrote this after reading an essay on women's intuition and how often they override it for politeness. And that kind of kickstarted this whole idea for the movie, which certainly is on full display when it comes to like these two people showing up at the same house for the same weekend.
It's an idea that was just like, right there.
Yes.
It seems so obvious for a horror movie.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm sure they thought the first Airbnb horror.
Right.
But yeah, it's just something that everyone's dealing with that now.
Right.
And so what are the bad things that can happen in this situation?
Yeah. And these things are bad.
Yeah. Yeah. But actually not related to the Airbnb aspect of it.
Right. Yeah. So, there is as I've mentioned, and I don't want to give away too much about this in case folks haven't seen it, but there is quite a tonal pivot midway through this. And apparently that was inspired by Pulp Fiction and Psycho. Kreger loves both of those movies and was kind of pulling a little bit from his appreciation for those films. This was shot largely in Bulgaria with some exterior stuff shot in Detroit just to make it feel like Detroit. But a lot of practical effects, especially all the underground tunnels and the thing that shows up at some point. But a big success. This was shot on a $4.5 million budget, ended up grossing over $45 million worldwide. Definitely one of the biggest horror successes of 2022. Why did I choose this? I fucking love this movie. And it's one of the rare horror films that really kind of feels alive. You don't know where it's headed next. It's funny. It's unpredictable. It's frightening. And I love that it gives kind of equal attention to its literal and metaphorical ideas around property. But it's just rare that I think we get horror movies that are this original these days and not relying on some of the very familiar tropes that the genre continues to fall back on. The performance is great. I think Justin Long as this Hollywood douchebag is just phenomenal and surprising and works brilliantly. I really didn't know where this was going. I'm glad that I went in as blind as I did, and I hope that folks do if they haven't already seen this. But yeah, I'm excited to see what else Krager makes. Weapons was as enjoyable as this for me. I know his next movie is Resident Evil, which is going to be interesting because it's an existing property.
Yeah. Kind of disappointed to hear you say that, actually.
I know that the saving grace is that he has never seen any of the existing Resident Evil movies.
Okay.
He's only played the game. So I'm hoping that means we get something good.
Okay. I'm open to it. We'll see.
Yeah, even if it's not good, we do have Barbarian and we've got Weapons, and I loved this. So I'm throwing it on the shelf as my final pick. Had you seen this before?
I had, yeah.
Okay. How did you feel about it?
I like this movie.
Okay.
It's a 3-star movie for me. I don't think I like it as much as, well, I don't like it as much as like everybody else seems to. I can see the first of all, I love the tone of it.
Yes.
I think I can see the potential, right? Like I can see this is a director that understands how to make this movie.
Yeah.
And how to tell a story. I don't love like the monster in it. I guess that's not even like the right term.
Yeah.
It's like it's too easy to make. I don't know. I wasn't like satisfied with that. It was too easy to make it a sympathetic character, and not thrilled with that part of it. I didn't think it was. I didn't think there was times when like I wanted it to be funnier.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? But I understand why people saw it and were like, yeah, this is somebody that is going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, I want to pay attention to it.
But like, I don't think this will ever be like a 4-star movie for me. And it's just one of those things like I didn't quite get why everybody said. And I mean, and you're one of those people. I'm like, I don't quite see how this is like Weapons. I thought was outstanding.
Yes,
I felt like there was something in that was missing here.
Fascinating. So I'm curious. Did you see Weapons before you saw this?
No.
Okay. When you say you wanted it to be funnier, I find that fascinating because comedy is not something that horror handles well when it's also trying to be scary. So
Well, okay, so this guy is from like sketch comedy, right?
Yes.
And you can see like the premise the premise of this is like a comedy premise.
Yeah.
Made into a horror movie.
Yes.
And like there's so many similarities between like how you execute a comedy premise and how you execute a horror premise. And this guy understands that in the same way that Jordan Peele understands it, right?
Yes.
But I think there were certain comedy quote like beats in this movie that should have felt more to me like comedy beats that to me just kind of like felt amusing.
Okay.
The only time in this movie that I laughed was when he brought out the tape measure. That was the only thing that actually made me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
The rest of it I was like, oh, I see, like that's funny. Like I never actually laugh at it. And I wanted there were parts of this movie I'm like, I feel like I should find this funnier.
I gotcha.
But I instantly noticed, I'm like, this is a director that understands how to like hit those beats. It just, this movie didn't hit them in the way that I wanted to, but I also saw, I'm like, oh, I can see like how this would work.
More than anything, I was just genuinely curious because I can't remember prior to this a horror movie that effectively scared me and effectively made me laugh and did it exceptionally well in both cases. And it sounds like it was funnier to me than it was to you, but
and also I didn't find it really scary.
Right? Yeah.
I would like, there was some like the story alludes to some like pretty horrifying shit, right?
Oh yeah,
like some really terrible stuff. But like we don't really get that on screen. Really get a sense of it.
Yeah,
it's just like, man, that stuff is like fucked up. That would have been a fucked up movie, right?
It relies on some theater of the mind that definitely will impact how frightening you find this because it relies on you to be imagining what kind of stuff occurred. Critics definitely liked the originality and tonal daring here. Interesting that you mentioned Jordan Peele. He called this one of his favorite horror movies of the year, describing it as an instant classic of unpredictability. It has a 3.4 average on Letterboxd. I have this at 5 stars.
Wow.
Yeah, I had the same reaction to this as you did to Breakin' 2, and
You're like, this is what life should be.
yeah,
like.
this is it. I'm happy. Just give me more. I did pluck Max Ivanov's 5-star review, who said you can't spell barbarian without Airbnb.
Ooh,
He's
thought
right.
of that.
Yeah. So we've covered property. We covered properties. Once again, 6 fine films occupy a temporary home on a staff recommendation shelf. This week's property-themed selection includes Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo, The Abyss, Captain Ron, House of Sand and Fog, Citizen Kane, and Barbarian.
If you don't have time to stop into the store, you can visit us 24 hours a day at rewindvideopod.com. You can also find us on Letterboxd and Blue Sky, or send us an email at rewindvideopod@gmail.com. And if you like the show, please rate, review, subscribe, and recommend it to all your friends who love movies.
Please do. This is a question for you that I just honestly don't know the answer to. Yeah. We have a Blue Sky account. Have we set fire to our Twitter account?
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I'm glad.
I'm pretty sure it's long gone.
Yeah, that's great news. That's great news.
Fabulous.
So next week, our theme focuses on something we'd all like to have a little more of, and it is luck.
Well, luck can be bad too, Bob.
Well, yeah, I mean, it does. The fact that we're focusing on this theme does beg the question, how many of the 8 Leprechaun movies will make it to the shelf?
I'm going to have to reevaluate my list.
Yeah, only one way to find out. And it's
so far I have 3 of the Leprechaun movies on there.
Yes, you'll have to tune in to find out exactly where we go with the theme of luck. As always, we'll have 6 movies to recommend, but if you're looking for something in the meantime, don't hesitate to hit us up for a movie to watch. Rob, this is the part of the show where I normally say, we'll see you next time, but I'm irked by the fact that we're not on video. Nobody's seeing us next time. So I've got to come up with a new closing to the show.
You got to work on that.
I'm going to try out one this week. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a different one next.
Okay.
So enjoy your pants.
Be kind. Recommend. And hail Satan.
I don't know about that. We'll see.